Hey beautiful people, I just had a very beautiful game that you need to watch right now. The game was so relatable and I thought I was crashing from the word go. Didn't have any weaknesses. So I want you guys to learn how masters attack their opponents and how they play by intuition. So sit back, relax and don't skip this video. The analysis part at the end is even more instructive. By the way, be sure to hit the like button and also subscribe to this channel. We just hit 50,000 subscribers. What are you waiting for? Be part of this community so that you don't miss any of my future uploads. Now, let's go. Time to hurt each other's feelings. E4. So, my plan is to play the Evans Gambit. If black responds with E5. Or the Gyoko piano. Yep, so there we see E5. Now, let me go knight to F3. Attacking the E5 pawn. Black should do something. Knight C6 defending the pawn. So bishop C4. The Italian game is the way to go. Yep. So bishop C4. Great. So there we see bishop C5. My plan is to go pawn to B4. And then followed by C3 next. So B4, the Evans Gambit, and then C3. If bishop C5, I'm going to play. Wow, there we see bishop e7. I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting to see something like bishop a5 or bishop c5, after which I was going to play pawn to d4. After pawn takes, bishop b4 check, I was going to put my king on f1. So pawn to d4 anyways, expecting black to take with his pawn. So my idea is to go king f1, given a chance. D6 looks weird. Yeah, because black's bishop on e7 is kind of misplaced. I have queen b3 in this position. Yeah, I think black was supposed to play knight a5 instead of d6. So queen b3, and I don't see how black can defend the f7 pawn. If knight h6, I have bishop takes h6. Yeah. So knight a5 has come late. What black should have done in this position was to play knight a5 to attack my bishop first, after which I was going to play something like bishop e2. So pawn to d6 was kind of a mistake. I don't believe in this because this allowed me to play queen b3, and now this knight a5 makes no sense because I can just take on f7 first. So bishop takes f7 check. I only see something like king f8 here. So what is going to happen is I'm going to win black's knight and he's going to win my bishop. This reminds me of one of my old tournament games that I lost against a 2100 rated player. Yep, so black should take my light squad bishop and I'm going to take his knight. End of story. So that's the line. There's no two way about it. King takes and queen takes a5. So next, I'm planning to go queen d5 check. And if bishop e6, I'll just take the free pawn on b7. So black has to be very careful here. Let's see what my opponent is up to. And I don't think I have any weaknesses in this position. I know my opponent is taking a bit of time. I might just cut this part out so that I do not waste your time. Let's see what my opponent will play from here. Right, welcome back after 5 years of waiting. Knight to f6. I have knight g5 check. Or first of all, I should take on e5. And then after pawn takes, that's when I can take on e5 with my knight, and that'll be check. I guess my opponent was trying to prevent queen d5 check, but that wasn't even in my mind though. So there we see king g8. And now my plan is very simple here. If I want, I can castle short or play bishop f4. Or can I go bishop g5? I don't even know what to do in this position. I have so many good options. I can develop my queen's knight on d2 if I want to, or go bishop a3, or let me start with queen b5. Yeah, queen b5 looks great because I have queen b3 check and followed by mate, or queen c4 check, then followed by mate if black is not careful. By the way, with queen b5, I'm also targeting the b7 pawn. Say if black plays something like bishop e6, I have queen takes b7. Yeah, so that's the beauty of calculating in advance. you should always play with a plan, especially in the middle game. Don't just, make moves for the sake of playing. So play moves that have great continuations, and that's what we mean by continuity in chess, or initiative. Play with initiative. And the thing is, a player who comes up with a greater initiative is the one that ends up winning the game. So the question is, could that be you? Or is it your opponent who's going to come up with a better plan, a better initiative? And that's one secret of most chess players, you guys. You might play the same opening, you might have the same opening knowledge, but when it comes to the middle game, they will probably come up with greater initiatives than you, because all you know is just, to play chess. Like the move that I have made right now, bishop f4 is a tactical shot with ideas of going knight g6 next. My knight will be defending the bishop while I'll be attacking black's queen on d6. So black played queen d6, for example, and I played bishop f4 with ideas of going knight g6. To pose a little discovery on black's queen. I don't know why I've repeated this statement so much. So there we see pawn to c6. Now that gives me time to go queen b3 check. And if bishop e6, yep. So queen b3 check. If bishop e6, yep. I can take on b7 just like I stated at first. So this has now become easier for me. I'm attacking the rook and I have knight g6 coming. Maybe take the bishop next, because my dark squared bishop on f4 will indirectly attack black's queen on d6 after I play knight g6. So let's see what my opponent is going to do in this position. So there we see rook b8. I think I can still take on a7. Yeah, like queen takes a7, still maintaining the pressure. Knight g6 is coming, attacking the bishop on e7. And this is the initiative that I was talking about, you guys. As you saw, our opening stage was equal. We were all playing normal moves, but the difference only happened in the middle game after I started making some, weird looking moves, some great initiatives behind. Anyways, let's see what my opponent is going to do. g5. Pawn to g5 attacks my bishop, but I still have knight g6, protecting my bishop and also attacking the queen, also indirectly attacking the rook. Yeah, so if pawn takes, I'm just gonna take the bishop on e7 with check. Yep. So now I can go knight takes e7 check. Very simple stuff. Wait a second. I think I've seen something even more powerful in this position that you may call a candidate move or an alternative move. Let me show you the other alternative moves that I have in this position. Of course, knight takes e7 check is the first one, or queen takes e7, that is also okay. But pawn to e5 is the move that I'm talking about in this position. Why is this, pawn to e5 move seem to be great? Because pawn to e5 will separate the queen from the rook on b8, and I'll be able to take even the other rook on h8. So pawn to e5 attacking the queen, and in this position I don't see where black can safely put his queen. All these highlighted squares are well protected by my pieces, including the e5 pawn. Yeah, so it is very clear that black is going to lose the rook on b8. And that's how important candidate moves are in chess. Always look out for candidate moves. So there we see queen d3 out of desperation. Now queen takes b8 becomes valid for me. So that's check. If king e7, I have queen takes h8 first, or start with a pawn. Let's say queen takes h8 check. Yep. So king takes g6 now. Pawn takes knight. Yeah, now the game is so simplified, and it's just a matter of technique before meeting my opponent. If bishop takes f6, I have queen e8 check, and then I'll take the c6 pawn. So I'm able to see these moves in advance, not because I have bigger eyes, but because my intuition is so good and I just feel chess is so relatable. These positions seem to be very much relatable to me. So let's see what my opponent is going to do in this position. Hope they are not turning on the engine to see what else they can do. But I'm not worried about that. I trust Lichess when it comes to detecting, cheaters. So bishop takes f6. Queen e8 check. If bishop f7, yep. Let me take on c6 now. Queen takes c6. Yeah, there's nothing else I can do. Okay, bishop d5. Did I miss something here? Okay, bishop d5 is a 1-0 move. I think I still have queen e8 check at best and then retreat my queen. Oh, wait a second. If I move my queen somewhere else, black is going to take on g2. Besides, there is also bishop takes c3 check, and then I'll lose my rook on a1. That's if I misplace my queen. So let me just maintain the pin. So I better stay in this same rank. Yeah, like queen d6 not only pins the light squared bishop, but also pins the dark squared bishop to the king. So this is a very clever move. This is a very clever move. So it turns out that black can't even take any of my pawns. The light squared bishop is pinned to the queen and the dark squared bishop to the king. Okay, so now king g7 unpins the dark squared bishop. Knight d2 is the move here. If bishop takes c3, I'll just play rook d1. I wanted to say rook d2. Or probably just castle long. Because I don't see anything else that, yeah, so bishop takes, castle long. I don't see anything else that black can do here. Black has no checks. He has no, forcing moves. Oh, wait a second. Maybe bishop takes d2, but I'll just take back with my rook. That won't be a threat. There's no bishop b3 check. The last squad bishop is pinned to the queen. Okay, there we see bishop takes d2 check. So rook takes, nothing else. Okay, queen c3 check. Wait, if I play rook c2 blocking the check, black is going to play queen a3. So let me go king d1. Oh, but black has queen a1 check. Oh, I have king e2. So queen a1, king e2. Yeah, queen a1, king e2. Now I'm attacking the queen. Bishop c4 check. Did I miss something here? Or maybe I can just go king f3 and king g4. My king will be very safe. So I'm still attacking the queen on a1. Black should be careful. Yeah, so queen takes h1. This is probably mate now. I mean, this is over. The king has no defense, no proper defense. King g6. Now rook d6 check. And next I might... Okay, so my opponent just resigned. Okay, so let me do some quick analysis so that I don't waste much of your time. Right, let me show you how I was able to predict my opponent's moves. First of all, I intended to play the Evans Gambit after bishop c5 and pawn to b4. My brainchild was after bishop takes and c3. If black played bishop c5, the top played move, I was simply going to play pawn to d4. There's a very nasty trap hidden in this line, you guys, and I remember presenting it in one of my old videos. The thing is, after e takes d4, you can simply take back, and after black plays bishop b4 check, the top played move, you don't block with your elbow. Anyways, you don't need to block this check with either your knight or your bishop. The best move you can play in this position is simply king f1. This is also very much playable even in classical chess. And what this does is that it silently creates a very nasty trap which even titled players will fall for. For example, the top played move in the Lichess database, as you can see with your own eyeballs, is pawn to d6, which is a blunder. Pawn to d6 allows us to go pawn to d5, and black will lose one of these pieces. For example, if black plays knight e5, you can simply go queen a4 check and then win that free bishop. Or first of all, begin taking on e5, and after pawn takes, that's when you go queen f4 check. This is a very cool trap to try out even in your classical chess, you guys. This is just something that I was thinking about during the game. So e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, bishop c5, and then b4, the evens gambit. My opponent took, and then I played pawn to c3. But instead of playing bishop a5 or bishop c5, my opponent surprised me with a move bishop e7, which is very much playable, by the way, one of the top played moves in the Masters database. I thought my opponent knew exactly what he was doing. The main line here starts with pawn to d4, and then black should play knight f5, immediately attacking my light squad bishop, and after this I was going to play something like bishop e2. You don't have to give up your bishop pair if you don't have to. Anyways, my center is well protected, so there's nothing there. And next I was just going to play normal chess, castle short, put my bishop on b2, and just start playing chess, active chess. But what did my opponent do? He first of all played pawn to d6, and this allowed me to play queen b3. Now say, Casper, what's wrong with this? There's a change in tempo, you guys. Now my opponent is late with this move, knight f5, because I have a serious attack on f7 which black can't easily defend. And that's why you guys have to be very careful with this move, bishop e7. It's not just a move you play anyhow. If you want to know the right time to play bishop e7, simply check out my e5 defense course, which is free at the moment, where I demonstrated the best way to play the Paris defense, one of the greatest e4 responses that I have ever come across. So be very careful with this move, bishop e7, especially if white has already committed pawn to c3. Always look out for queen b3. So immediately my opponent played pawn to d6, I played queen b3, wanting to take this. And from here, everything was very simple for me. I remember losing in this similar way against a 2100 in a real OTB tournament some years back, and this is another reason why it was very easy for me to spot this mistake by black. Let me show you what happened to me. So in this game, I was playing black, and my opponent played the Scotch Gambit, beginning with d4, and after pawn takes, bishop c4, and then out of everything I could have done, such as bishop b4 check, and then put my bishop on b6, or something like bishop c5 or d6, or even knight g e7. See what I did in the game. I played bishop e7, which looks okay at the moment, and this is when my opponent noticed something weird about my development. Noticing that my f7 pawn became so defenseless, he first of all played c3. Taking on d4 was not the idea. The idea was for him to go queen b3, and so I blindly played pawn to d3, and now guess the move that he played. Queen b3. This is what I'm talking about. Maybe what I should have done in this position was to play knight a5, the same move that my opponent failed to see in the game that I just finished playing. So I played pawn to d3, and after queen b3, that's when I realized that, oh, I missed knight a5. I should have played knight a5 before playing pawn to d3. And now you know how relatable chess is. I mean, if you play these things too much. So my opponent took on f7, just like what happened in the game that I'm from playing. I played king f8, and then he played queen a4. I mean, I had no any other option apart from taking on f7, and then he took my knight. And this is a similar thing that happened even in today's game. See for yourselves. So this is how relatable chess can be at times, you guys. And look at the similarities here. Be very careful with bishop e7. Know when to play it and how to play it. Anyways, and so if there is one key takeaway that you should learn from this video is history may repeat itself. Chess is so relatable. At worst, just memorize positions because most of these things look similar in structure. Right, so this is all for today, you guys. I hope you learned one or two things. Thank you so much for watching this video. Until next time, have a wonderful day. Bye bye.